All new Dr. Phil. Everything was paid for.
Bridesmaids, dresses, cake, venue.
But 5 weeks before the wedding,
My fiancé said that he wanted a prenup signed or he wouldn't marry me.
Isn't that kind of bait and switch?
There's rumors about her partying going a little too far.
I go out with my girlfriends, once a week or so.
And sometimes you don't come home.
Yeah, that was at family camping.
That's what you call that, family camping? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Well, Mel and Ian have been together for over 6 years. Now, they lived together as a family with their 5-year-old daughter and Mel's 9-year-old daughter for 5 years before getting engaged. Now, Mel says they picked a wedding date, sent out the invitations, and she even bought a dress. Everything seemed fine until Ian hit her with a prenup just 5 weeks before their wedding. Ian says it was his father who advised him to get a prenuptial agreement after he heard rumors about Mel drinking and partying and cheating. Now, Ian's father died over a month ago, but Ian says he still wants to adhere to his deceased father's wishes. Now, Mel, she's not good with this. She called off their wedding. She not only refuses to sign a marriage contract, but also says she will leave him for good if he continues to demand this. Take a look.
What was supposed to be the best day of our lives, getting married, turned into a total nightmare. 5 weeks before the wedding, my fiancé Ian said that he wanted a prenup signed or he wouldn't marry me. To have that dropped on me was you kind of betraying me.
One of the reasons I wanted a prenuptial agreement was some of the rumors that I had heard.
I was out with some friends and I was in the washroom. A guy couldn't get into the men's washroom, so he went into the women's washroom. So a guy and I came out at roughly the same time, and everyone started saying that something went on between us.
The rumor is that she hooked up with him, had sex for some cocaine.
That absolutely wasn't true. Behind my back, Ian and his dad went to a financial planner to get some legal advice. Ian gave me an ultimatum to sign the prenup or we were not going to get married.
I want the prenup to protect the house that Dad gave me.
Ian wanted to make sure that I didn't get his pension and no spousal support after 5 years. We were 100% ready to go. We had the tent, the flower girls, their dresses, my bridesmaid, tux rentals were done, cake was ordered, DJ, everything. I was so upset that I called the wedding off. I was so mad at Ian's dad, Barry. And the last thing that I said to Ian's dad was that you're letting money cloud your judgment and it doesn't matter what we have when we're 10 feet under. That was the last time Barry and I spoke. About a month ago, Ian's dad had a massive heart attack and died.
I feel that my world has sort of collapsed.
Now all Ian and I do is fight. I feel like my whole entire relationship with Ian is falling apart over a prenup agreement.
I'm really concerned that the next fight we have might just split us up.
We may have to go our separate ways, or I don't know what we're gonna do. I feel like I don't know whether to end things now or go ahead and sign his prenup. I feel like we don't need a prenup. We're not like celebrities and we're not worth millions and millions of dollars. We're just two people coming into a marriage trying to have a happy family.
Okay, first off, before we even get into this, let me tell you how sorry I am for your loss.
Thanks.
Because it's got to be very raw for you. It's just been 5 weeks since you lost your dad. So I'm very, very sorry about that.
Thanks.
I'm very sorry about your loss as well, because I know you lost your mother just in March of this year.
Yeah.
So both of y'all have had some real life-changing events just this year, in both losing a parent.
Yeah.
And now you've got problems between the two of you and may lose each other
Yeah.
after 5 or 6 years here. So a lot of turmoil this year in your lives, right?
Yeah,
You say you want a prenuptial agreement.
I do, yeah.
All right, now a prenuptial agreement, and we, Ann Margaret Carrozza is here, and she is a terrific lawyer that deals with these kind of things, and we're going to talk a lot to Ann Margaret later in the program today. But Ann Margaret, can you tell us just briefly, define a prenuptial agreement for everybody so everybody knows what we're talking about?
Well, at its heart, a prenup is nothing more than an exchange of written promises between two parties. And it's done prior to a wedding to deal with things that the couple thinks may be potential problems, but it also deals with positive lifestyle issues as well.
All right, and it addresses things like property, money, things that you might fight about later if there was a problem. You just decided ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is that why you want to do this?
Yes.
Okay. You're just saying, let's do this before we get down there.
Exactly.
Because it's often been said, you divorce a very different person than you marry. And so things can change.
Exactly.
All right. And your objection to this is what?
I think that because it was brought to the table 5 weeks before we were supposed to get married, that he sided with his dad and like betrayed me, and he should have stand by me. I figure going into a marriage, you should be kind of equal playing field, you know, like not thinking about divorce already before we even got married.
Right. But you know, that's a potentiality. I mean, and that is a possibility in any marriage.
Sure. I guess I just felt hurt by him like going behind my back. It should have been something we maybe talked about at engagement time or before, not after the whole wedding was all planned and ready to go.
Yeah, what's up with that? Because what all had been done when he came to you with this?
Everything. Bridesmaids' dresses, cake, venue, hotels booked, DJ, everything was paid for, ready to go. We were literally 5 weeks before we were supposed to. I had my bridal shower already. The tuxes had been ordered and paid for. Everything was done. There wasn't one thing that wasn't done.
Caterer, cake,
everything.
Everything had been done.
We had never, ever talked about
Isn't
signing
that,
a prenup.
Isn't that kind of bait and switch?
Yes. Well, the only thing is that I didn't know about it until my father brought it to me when all this stuff went on with the rumors. He felt really strongly at that point that I needed to protect myself.
What rumors?
There's just rumors of relationship ending issues.
Well, spit them out. You're on the Dr. Phil show.
No, there's rumors about her partying going a little too far.
You think she's got a party lifestyle.
Yes.
You think she goes out and drinks too much. And you actually heard that when she was drinking too much that she got a little too friendly with somebody.
Yes.
You think she may have cheated on you.
I did at the time, but when you start looking back on things, I don't think that was at all what happened.
It's still affecting us though, because you really don't. He doesn't really 150% believe me that didn't happen. Like it's definitely put a strain on. You know, when I do go out, he's always wondering or gives me a hard time if when I come back.
How do you feel about that? He's doing this because he doesn't trust you.
I do know.
He's doing this because he does have in the back of his mind that he got to keep an eye on you, girl.
That is true. I've always been social. I go out with my girlfriends, once a week or so.
And sometimes you don't come home.
That is true. That's true. Yeah, that was at family camping. Anyways.
That's what you call that, family camping? Okay, Ian admits the reason behind this whole prenup is to protect him from future issues that may arise from Mel's drinking, partying, and family camping. We'll take a closer look at Mel's behavior next and figure this out. We'll be right back.
You came in and said, I'm not marrying you. I literally had one day.
This is an ambush. You had her between a rock and a hard place.
We Facebooked our guests and said that sadly our wedding's not going to be happening.
And later, are you a high-risk candidate? He says you're a great mother when you mother.
Yeah, and I mother 6 out of 7 days a week.
Let's talk about that 7th day. Do you drink too much?
With Purina One True Instinct, her true instinct.
Well, Mel says she was 5 weeks away from her wedding when her fiancé Ian asked her to sign a prenup because he worries that she parties too much. Somehow he thinks the paperwork is going to fix that. Mel claims the terms of the prenup would leave her without her home, access to his pension, and limited support if they were to divorce. Now, she is furious about the last-minute demand, and so Mel canceled the wedding and reached out to me to try to mediate a solution here. Now, are we clear that what we're talking about here are trust issues, and it has to do with your drinking and partying and maybe doing drugs and maybe cheating? Those are the issues that are bothering him.
That he's having, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's having.
Yep.
Now, let's take a look at what the terms of this prenuptial agreement were going to be. He wants to keep the initial value of the home, wants to keep his pension, he wants to stop spousal support after 5 years of divorce. So that's what he said he wanted in this prenuptial agreement.
That's right.
Okay, and you object to that. Why?
We have lived in that house for 6 years. Not only it's my home, it's our family's home. And my dad, he runs a construction business. A lot of money was put into that house.
What do you think about that?
Well, that's why I want the bottom two. They were really my dad's initial.
But you never stuck up. You never stuck up to your dad for me to say that. You still initially had it as those three main points.
That's what he wants, yes.
And then he never stuck up for me and said, you know what, Melissa's all right. Let's.
Yeah, because there were improvements to the home. You sent us pictures of that.
Yeah.
We have before and after pictures of the home, about 20 grand. I mean, on one side you've got the before, and on the other side after, where everything was completely renovated and done with floors and fixtures
and a new
stuff
deck.
like
My dad
that.
did a new deck.
Yeah, a new deck on the house, and also you do have investment in this house, but you said you just want the initial value of the house.
And then if it were to be...
If it appreciated, then she could get that if you ever decided to sell it.
So that was my idea, to do it that way.
Upon exit.
That was that plan. I went over to his dad's house after I heard that he was not marrying me unless a prenup was signed. I went over and spoke with his dad and said, hey, Barry, what are we gonna do here? And he wrote out what he said. And I said, well, you just want me to walk away with absolutely nothing? I said, why don't we at least split the difference? So that was my idea
You tried to work it out.
That was my idea. We had 5 weeks. I literally had 1 day before we would lose all of our deposits because it was within 30 days, we signed a contract saying everything's canceled.
Was that fair?
No, and I wasn't involved in that conversation, which...
You came to me,
What do you mean you weren't involved?
With the conversation between
Well, no,
my
was
dad
it fair that she had one day to fish or cut bait?
No. It definitely wasn't.
Because, this is an ambush. You had her between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
And so she cut bait.
She did, yep.
What did you think she was going to do? Do you think she'd sign her? Do you think she had...
I figured we'd have a conversation about it more than we did.
You came in guns blaring, though. You came in and said, I'm not marrying you. My dad says we're signing this. And that was it. So, yeah, I got scared, and I canceled the whole thing. We Facebooked our guests. We haven't really talked about it since. Facebooked our guests and said that, sadly, our wedding's not going to be happening. The invites were out, and all our RSVPs were already back.
After being engaged for 6 years.
No, just
we were engaged,
for
we got engaged in November.
Well, you were together for 6 years.
Sure.
And then you got engaged after 5 years.
Yes.
And you have a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
So...
I felt really hurt and betrayed, and that he made me feel this.
Weren't you kind of already in this?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
you have a child together? You've been together for 6 years?
I was really worried about the house, that all of a sudden I would be forced to sell my father's inheritance and give Melissa half if this stuff kept going on.
What do you think about this now?
I still want the prenuptial agreement, but the only thing I really want in that prenuptial agreement is the initial purchase price protected, and then anything over and above we separate in half.
And why is that important to you?
So that, for number one, Melissa gets a fair deal, because she's She's been there for 7 years and done the majority of the decorating.
He's changed his tune since his dad passed away.
When you go out, you go out.
That is true, yeah. You can't change what you don't acknowledge, and yeah, I do drink.
And later, Mel admits to abusing drugs in the past. Well, we tested Mel, and we're going to reveal the results.
When I was a teenager, I had some substance abuse problems. Today, I don't do drugs. I'm absolutely clean. I do drink.
When Melissa drinks, she can drink to excess. 6 months ago, she was out drinking and got really drunk. Melissa fell down a flight of stairs. She split her hand wide open with a beer bottle.
It was a huge, huge mess, and I had to be in a cast for 15 weeks.
Her drinking concerns me because I don't know where it's going to end up.
I definitely don't feel like I have a drinking problem. I'm still a very responsible person. I'm still an amazing mom.
I want a prenuptial agreement just in case Melissa does something irresponsible.
Ian knew I was a social person and went out quite often when he met me. If he felt like it was such a big deal, then he shouldn't have asked me to marry him.
Are you a high-risk candidate?
No. A high-risk candidate? I'm an awesome mom. My house is spotless.
He says you're a great mother when you mother.
Yeah, and I mother 6 out of 7 days a week. I stay at home with them. I always have stayed at home with them and worked part-time.
Let's talk about that seventh day. Just what you say about the seventh day.
Yeah, I go out.
Because you said with regard to your drinking, I go out once a week and I like to drink whiskey or vodka, and I have 5 or 6 drinks in a night. You said, I've been told by people I drink too much. I'm a binge drinker. Ian has 1 or 2 beers and then goes to bed, and I just want to keep going. He'll go home, and then I'll keep going out.
That's true.
You said, I'm not a daily drinker. I don't drink around my kids.
True.
You said, I'll go out at night sometimes, and the rest of the time, I'm a great mom, and he agrees with that. And you said, Ian and I never drink together.
No.
Do you drink too much?
I don't drink too often, but when I do drink, I drink too much.
Yeah.
I don't drink often though. Oh. Nice.
What is this one of these family camping?
We went to a music festival, adults only, where a bunch of country music stars come together, and we went and listened to a concert.
Yeah.
That is me, though. Yeah.
That's a funnel, right? So you can get it in quicker.
That's true.
And how did this happen? Look at this hand.
Yeah, it was dark, and I missed a step, and I fell and landed in a rock garden, and a bottle went through my hand.
A beer bottle?
Beer bottle.
Are these the kind of things that cause you to say, you know, this could get off the rails?
Exactly.
That could have happened sober, though. That was just a tumble.
On a family camping trip.
It was St. Patrick's Day, and that could have happened. Accidents happen, like glass in hand can happen.
Yeah. Is he a high-risk candidate?
No.
Are you higher risk than he is?
Higher risk, yes.
You don't think you're high risk, but
No.
you're higher risk.
True. I don't think I'm high risk. I take great care of my kids. I'm a really, really good mom. We do stuff together. We go to Disney, Wonderland, like we do we're very family oriented, but that once in a while, because I stay home all week.
When you go out, you go out.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't change what you don't acknowledge, and yeah, I do drink too much, I guess.
Yeah.
But I've always been like that. That's not a new thing. And for him, he knew that when he asked me to marry him. Like, it's not like all of a sudden I got engaged and then I started going out. I've been doing this, going out hard since I was a teenager. Like, not a new thing.
Yeah. Well, Mel admits to abusing drugs in the past, but is she still using without Ian's knowledge? I mean, does he have legitimate reasons to be concerned that this could go off the rails? Well, we tested Mel, and we're going to reveal the results because drugs stay in your system a long time. Plus, we're going to meet Mel's sister, Krista, who has some words about this prenup. We'll hear from her when we come back.
When Ian asked Melissa to sign a prenup, I feel like it's something that Ian should have brought to Melissa's attention prior to 5 weeks before the wedding. Both of them need to behave as a team instead of as individuals. We really just want Melissa to realize what's at stake and what she could be losing.
Ian and I are just kind of in limbo. I feel like the trust has definitely been questioned.
Melissa keeps saying that she's going to leave me.
I'm second guessing Ian now since he second guessed me.
I still want a prenuptial agreement. I'm afraid I'm going to lose our family. I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything in the world. I want her to sign this prenup so that we can get married and move on with our lives.
At the moment, we're just living our lives pretending like everything's fine. Everything isn't fine.
Now, Mel's sister says she does not agree with Ian wanting a prenup. She says she believes it's a precursor to getting a divorce.
When Ian asked Melissa to sign a prenup, she called me immediately. Understandably, my sister was really upset, and she was heartbroken when everything had to change. I feel like it's something that Ian should have brought to Melissa's attention prior to 5 weeks before the wedding, and she should have been part of the prenuptial process. I know Ian has some concerns about Melissa's drinking habit. Melissa can be a binge drinker. When she goes out, she doesn't stop. Sometimes it'll start with a thirsty Thursday and end with a Sunday fun day. Ian and I both agree that Melissa should start to be more responsible, not party as much, and contribute financially. We really just want Melissa to realize what's at stake and what she could be losing. I would like Melissa and Ian to come up with a solution. Both of them need to behave as a team instead of as individuals. Melissa needs to do some soul searching. She needs to figure out what she really, really wants.
Okay, thanks for being here. Do you think this was fair, the way it came down?
I do not think it was fair, no. Yeah. I think if all the years that they were together, do you not think it eventually comes up? In the first few years, or if you're even thinking about marriage, I think you should at least bring it to someone's attention if it's even a thought.
Mm-hmm. Where did this home come from?
My parents bought it so that I'd be close to my mom. She was sick with cancer.
Mm-hmm. And is your mom still alive?
No.
So you've lost your mom. This home now has added significance to you because this came from your parents.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
I do understand that. I still don't think it should have been done differently, that's all. If he would have brought it to me maybe a year ago or when he asked me to marry him, then it would have totally been different. The reason he rushed the engagement, though, is because my mom as well got pancreatic cancer, and they didn't think she was going to live for very long. So the doctors thought that she might get better, so we rushed everything, got it all ready to go for that August, and then she passed away in February, late February, so she never made it to the wedding either.
Yeah. As I say, I know y'all have gone through a lot of change this year, and I'm really sorry for your loss and for yours as well. I know that's very difficult. But if this were to be revisited now, and you were to negotiate something in due course with reasonable time, is that something that you would be open to with regard to the house?
Yeah.
Well.
What do you think?
Well.
Sorry.
Robin wanted a prenup when we got married because she didn't want me to get half of her 63 Comet.
62.
When 62. We got married, that was our asset. This is it. Yeah. This was our net worth when we got married. It was $315, right? Isn't that what you paid for that?
Yes, and I paid for it myself.
That's right. You paid for it by the week or by the month?
By the month.
Yeah, but
$50.
Yeah, but she owned it, and she didn't want to get me to get half of it. So,
tell the truth, I did not ask for a prenup.
No, she did not ask for a prenup. Yeah, that was an ugly car. You have trust issues with her.
Going out once a week, is that a problem?
It's not the frequency, it's the intensity that seems to be the issue. Closed captioning provided by I'll tell you, too, what I think about this. I think you ambushed her unfairly. And I understand that you took advice from your father, but you're not marrying your father.
No.
You're marrying her. I think what you should have done was say to your father, you know what, I wish we'd had this conversation a year ago. I am not ambushing my wife with 24 hours to make a decision about something that is putting her in a bind. Now, having said that, I don't think it is unreasonable or unrealistic for you to want to protect a family asset, a family, this is like a family heirloom to you emotionally, this house that's been given to you. But I have to tell you, this prenup is not your problem. You have trust issues with her.
Going out once a week, is that a problem?
It's not the frequency, it's the intensity that seems to be the issue.
Yeah. But I just think like going out once in a while isn't a problem. I truly don't believe that it's I don't go wake up, what am I going to have to drink today? Like, I don't drink like that. I don't drink like...
You don't go out with that in mind, but when you go out, that's what you do.
That is true, but not often. I'm not making excuses. It sounds like I'm making excuses.
That's because you are.
I'm not often I do that. Like once in a while we get all dressed up and go out and dance, right? That's fine. I seriously think that that's fine.
If that's fine, if you two negotiate that, that's fine.
Okay.
He does not believe that you, sober and rational, would make any decision that would threaten this marriage. But he does believe that when you go out and get into an altered state of consciousness, that you suspend good judgment, and that might put you in a compromised position that he would have a difficult time living with. How am I doing here?
Exactly.
Yeah. Love what you're doing with your hair, by the way. Bald guys think alike, right? Yep. So that's what he's saying. Now, we did a tox screen on you, drug-wise. She was clear of all drugs. And a lot of this stuff has long half-life.
Thank you. And that's been brought up 150 over the past year. I've been accused of it like probably 5 to 10 times.
Well, and a lot of this stuff stays in your blood for a long, long time. It has a half-life, some of this stuff for a long, long time. And it would be in her test, and she...
See, Ian, I told you.
I would never.
I told you.
So that's good news, right?
Yep.
I would like to set up for the two of you some premarital counseling.
Great.
Okay.
That I would do if you had just met and been dating for 6 months.
Okay.
And premarital counseling covers a lot of things that you probably think you've already got worked out, but you don't. Because it's not what happens in your life that gets you upset. It's violating the expectation of what's going to happen that gets you upset. So you need to be sure that you have the same expectations.
Sure.
And then put this marriage back on the calendar. And I think you can have a prenuptial agreement. And he's asking for, in a very limited fashion here.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah.
Now it's more reasonable than it was before.
Right. And I also want to arrange to get you a trainer and a nutritionist.
Yeah.
So you can get yourself really in good shape and feel good about who you are.
Thanks, Dr. Phil.
And
thank you.
all right.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'm going to give you a copy of my book, 2020 Diet. Well, it's not a paperweight. You need to read it. And when you finish reading it, I want you to give it to him.
Okay.
Because the trainer I'm going to get him and the nutritionist I'm going to get him is going to need to read it as well, because he needs to take care of himself just like you do yourself. Come on, guys. You got a child here.
Yep.
Let's really take care of their parents. You make a deal to do that?
Yep, for sure.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough?
Thanks, fair enough.
Ann Margaret Carroza is here, and she is a terrific lawyer that deals with these kind of things, and we're going to talk to her in just a minute. We'll be right back. All right, joining me is estate management attorney Ann Margaret Carrozza. Now, one of the focuses in her practice is estate management, which includes post and prenuptial agreements. So I got a lot of questions for you. Now, first off, is a prenuptial agreement a reasonable thing to do?
Absolutely. I encourage everyone to at least think about it.
Why?
I think it depends on the couple. I think a conversation, at the very least, a conversation should be had. One party has more assets, one party has fewer assets. So we need to make sure that in the 45% chance that the marriage doesn't work out, that neither one of them are struggling financially on the back end. And it can cover a wide variety of issues. I've drafted a celebrity substance abuse clause where if celebrity X is caught using again, there's a huge financial penalty. So the prenuptial agreement can have a list of deal breakers, infidelity, substance abuse.
Well, that's a ticket to the courthouse, though, right? I mean, because then it's like, okay, you got to prove that, and that didn't happen, that was entrapment, that was this, that was it. That's a ticket to...
Well, I think it's less time in the courthouse because you have dealt with the exit rules in advance. Now, 50 states, New York was the last state to enact no-fault divorce, where we don't have to allege wrongdoing. I'm simply putting the other party on notice. These actions will likely make me head for the door, so there are no surprises later.
Okay, if somebody wants to get a prenuptial agreement, is this an expensive thing for them to do if they go to a lawyer?
There are some legal fees involved, and typically it's going to be done hourly. You do need two separate attorneys, otherwise the prenup can be totally invalidated.
Okay, but are we talking about $1,500 or $15,000?
$1,500.
Okay, so it's not some massive sort of thing. And is there a level at which somebody should think about this? I mean, if somebody's net worth is $10,000, don't worry about this. If it's $100,000, worry about it. If it's $1 million, worry about it. At what point does this become relevant?
Well, if someone's net worth is $10,000, I would argue that they're very concerned about losing $1 of it. So I think no matter where you are financially, the prenup can be used to bolster your financial security. Yeah.
But we're going to do this the right way anyhow, so not going to be any fight about that. All right. When we come back, a father and daughter at odds. She says he is too old to do extreme sports and run 10K races, but Dad says she should just mind her own business. They'll join us next. Closed captioning provided by holidays. As families gather together, it's often a time to have some of those tough talks with family members. Now, these talks can be difficult and they can turn into a holiday disaster if you don't handle it correctly. Now, my next guests are facing this exact issue. Catherine says she's worried about her 75-year-old father, Lo. She says her dad doesn't listen to doctor's orders and ignores his own limitations by insisting on doing, get this, intense, extreme obstacle courses. Take a look.
My father's not getting any younger. I think my dad has a hard time accepting reality when it comes to his age.
I'm still active as when I was 40.
After our mom died, he was like, I'm living life like a bachelor. He met someone online and moved to Texas. I felt abandoned. He suffers from Parkinson's. He does have some balance issues.
Right now, my Parkinson's under control.
He thinks that he's just as young as a spring chicken.
Go back up. I exercise a lot. Push-ups, pull-ups, extreme obstacle courses.
I think the obstacle courses are a bit unnecessary. I mean, he could hurt himself.
I don't give a damn.
As people age, they do get to be worse drivers.
I don't need help. I don't need the driver.
One time, he's going too slow for the traffic.
What is too slow? Too slow for her? That's just
He can be difficult to handle. When we talk to him, we're just not getting anywhere.
It's none of their business.
Well, joining me now are Catherine and her father, Lo. So, Lo, many 75-year-olds start to slow it down a little bit, but you're revving it up, taking on these extreme obstacle courses. Really?
Well, this is my third year. In May of 2017, I intend to do it. I work out a lot. I exercise. I run 10Ks. I don't have any significant injuries. I'm in good health, and so this is just a milestone for me.
Yeah. Well, Catherine, so why exactly are you so worried about your dad?
I'm worried that the extreme obstacle courses, that in doing those he could hurt himself. And an injury might be devastating for him if he can't work out, because I know that's a huge part of his life.
He's had a car wreck, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It was at night. He was driving my husband's car, and he had an incident, not with another vehicle. No one was hurt, but there was substantial damage to the vehicle.
And you say sometimes he goes too slow.
I think sometimes he goes not too slow for me, just too slow for the traffic.
Yeah. Now, you have a 2003 Honda Accord, right? And you hope to keep it until driverless cars come out.
I use that as a reference point. Just really, I'm really joking because I don't know when they're coming. It's a matter of safety.
Those driverless cars are predicted to be out in 2030.
Yeah, total driverless cars.
Yeah, and you'll be a little older then. I actually have some help here for Catherine and Lo. AARP caregiving expert Amy Goyer is here. Amy, why don't you actually come up here? Would you? Why don't you come up? So, Amy, what is the best way for a family to handle a situation like this? Because Catherine thinks Lo should slow down. Lo says, look, I'm just fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, you're really lucky, Lo, to have a daughter who even cares and who is interested in being supportive and worrying about you. And you're lucky to have a dad who's here and active and all of that. But the thing is, you're a team. There's a lot of love in this family, and you have a common goal. And that is for Lo to be as independent as possible for as long as possible. And the thing is, you have to be communicating, to make that happen. And it sounds like there's some issues with that.
And it's not really about age. It's about health, safety, skills, all of that, right?
Yeah, you can't say at a certain age you're going to stop driving or doing anything, really. It's more about your skills, your health, your abilities.
So how important is it for Catherine and Lo to have this conversation now while he is so fit and alert and she's available to communicate with him?
It's so great that they're having this conversation now, because you don't want to wait till you're in a crisis and then be in a situation where you're trying to figure things out and know what you're going to do. You need to talk about different scenarios. What if you did get injured doing the obstacle course? Would Catherine know how to step in and manage your affairs or deal with your house or any of those things? Those things could happen. That's a reality. It's not the end of the world, but how are you going to manage it? Talk about those scenarios. Would she, what's your expectation of Catherine? Do you want her to step in and manage things, and is she prepared to do that?
And she needs to know where papers and documents are. She needs to know what his expectations are, right?
Right, and
if
contacts.
Emergency contact, you need to talk about that.
That's all perfectly valid.
And what about these extreme obstacle courses Lo enjoys doing? Is there something he could do to relieve some of Catherine's worries?
This is a great opportunity for compromise. Talk about this openly and try not to feel like you each have to get defensive. Your daughter loves you and she's just a little scared for you. Maybe he could go see a doctor beforehand and after. You say you usually don't have injuries. Great, but let's confirm that. Have that communication going. And maybe have some goals for down the road for exercise that challenges you. And gives you what you like about this, but maybe is a little bit more on the safer end.
Yeah, the key is planning ahead. And for anyone who is struggling with talking to or caring for an aging parent, I really urge you to check out aarp.org/caregiving. I promise you there is a wealth of information there, and tips. And in addition, as an expert on aging and families, Amy has written a great book called Juggling Life, Work, and Caregiving. And it really offers insight and inspiration for anyone caring for an aging parent or family member. And everyone in the audience is going home with a copy of that book. All right? And I promise you, you want to read that book if you're caring for someone or if you're being cared for, because from either perspective, these are things you need to think about. You guys hear me talk about aarp.org because this is absolutely a wealth of information on so many different things. Robin and I absolutely love this website, so check it out. Okay, I want to thank all of my guests today. A very special thanks to estate management attorney Ann Margaret Carosi, and a special thanks to AARP and Amy Goyer. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it so much. All right, thanks so much, Amy. Thanks so much. You bet. All right, thanks, guys.